Where like wedgen is girlfriend in Welsh. Like it's not like, but like they were like, oh I'm a wedgen fan, really nice. I was like, what's a wedgen? And it's a girlfriend. And like tuba is tub. So they go, then you go chi'r cima and a tuba bari, and that was like tub, which I'd never thought. But yeah, so they teach you so many Welsh words that you don't get taught in school. But it just works so well. Because I got born on the full moon, my mum wanted it to, like my mum and dad wanted it to be something to do with the moon. So they didn't really want to call me Moon. So my grandma, my dad's mum, they were like looking like for different names and stuff. So, but she chose Laluna, and then, but my middle name's Machiro, which in Japanese means like full. So it's like Laluna Machiro, and then Rhiannon because Wales, and it's a Welsh name. Yeah. So that's basically Laluna. And then, yeah. So they want to do something with the full moon, not just any, yeah.
And where were you born?
In a barn, in a yurt. So, yeah, because they're building up the house. So, you know the barn that we have over there? It was completely flat, and they were living in a yurt, and that's basically where, yeah, I got born. And they didn't have time to go to the hospital or anything, because apparently I shot out, and my mum couldn't keep me in, so yeah. But yeah. In a barn, not many people can do that, can they?
So you've lived here in the Presellis your whole life?
Yeah, yeah. We didn't like get brought up with TV and stuff like that. We were always like playing in the field and stuff like that. But like, I remember, have you watched Naushka? It's a Ghibli film, and it's like this princess, and she has like this sort of like aeroplane thing where she jumps on and like suddenly can fly, and it's like a glider. It's so cool, and she's like the princess that looks after everyone. And so we had a swing like in the garden, and I always used to pretend to be Naushka, and I always thought, oh, I'm like a nature princess and stuff like that. I loved it. Yeah, so that's, I don't know, like we just always loved playing outside, and yeah, it's just comforting really, isn't it? Just being able to not have to rely on electricity and stuff like that to be happy. And like me and my best friend Manon, we always used to play hotels at her house. So there was like this tree which we used to pretend was our hotel, and then we used to dive off it and pretend there was a swimming pool underneath. And I always used to play outside, and I think, yeah, I don't know, nature, it was always very happy being outside. Around here, there's always this part of our house that I love, but also like our little garden, always loved that. Like that's, I don't know, I love around here probably the most, because also you have so many memories here, like memories outside, like whenever we had like floods and stuff, me and my older brother always used to dress up in our ski clothes, just lie in the ponds, like in full ski gear, just like lie there and like float about in the pond. Drove my mum crazy because I would be like completely soaked and drenched, and I would walk in the house like dripping wet. But yeah, I think just living around our house is probably my favourite area, and beach as well. Like beach is probably my favourite place to be, and like you can in the sea as well, swimming. I love swimming in the sea. Like me and my dad swam in the sea in lockdown when it was pouring down rain, and we just ran down, quickly jumping into the water, but it was so peaceful, like so calm, like you couldn't hear anything else. You could just lie in the water, and like the rain was like dancing on the sea. So pretty, yeah. So I think like the sea is probably my favourite place, and here, a bit of both. Mont's just always been a favourite. Cable is also amazing. We don't often go there, but I saw about 6 baby seals there recently, and they were literally like a metre away from me, and just like staring at me, like, and they kept bobbing up and down, like playing with each other, and you could stand like right beside them, and then like I got quite scared, so I kept like running away, but like they'd come straight up to you. So I think Cable also is like a very special place. Yeah. I think don't take your childhood for granted, as in, my childhood was, like, probably one of the best parts of growing up, like, and also, like, children nowadays are just stuck to their screens all the time. Like, my little brother, he's a few years younger than me and my older brother, so like when we were younger, he didn't have the same sort of childhood as us. He did have it very similar, but now he's just on his Xbox all the time, and like especially with the pandemic happening, all their schooling's online, isn't it? So they're going from one screen to the other. They don't have like any football clubs or like any swimming clubs and stuff like that, so they're constantly just stuck in front of a screen. And like, at my age now, I can take myself out to the beach like by myself, and I don't mind going to the beach myself. But at that age, you wouldn't really want to do that. Like, you don't feel comfortable doing stuff by yourself, really, do you? So, I think I'd probably like don't just sit inside constantly. That's so like, you just miss out on so many stuff, don't you? And like, I remember I did go through a phase of where I first got my first iPod. And I was just stuck on it all the time, and like my parents confiscated it for a whole year, and I ended up reading so many different books. And then I have this friend who lives literally straight across the mountain from us. She lives there and in Haverfordwest, so she would quad bike to my house, and we would have these like baby quad bikes, and we'd quad bike back and forth to each houses, and like that was like the best time ever, because like we were never on our screens, and like we have like a little tree hut which we camped in overnight one night, and it was just amazing. And like fi'n cofio fel pryd yr haf ma, when you just mynd back and forth fel ar quad bikes ni, within fel 15 minutes ar y quad bikes i fynd o TV ti hi, a when ni just mynd arno nhw fel bob man, when ni'n neud fel treks yn yr yard, when ni'n mynd i'r park and yeah, local village ni, we'd go to the park to play in it, and we'd just quad bike over to the park our quad bikes in this like parking lot, and just play in the park, and like take picnics and stuff like that. That was amazing. Like, but sim bra bach fi'n neud hwnna nawr. So like, sim yr plant oedden fi, maen nhw'n just mewn tu fewn trwy'r amser, maen nhw'n stuck i screens nhw, maen nhw'n cael ei roi fel iPhone sim pryd maen nhw'n fach. Pryd yn year 7 maen nhw'n cael iPhone 6s in year 7. But like, I never had like an iPhone in year 7. I had like a tiny iPod and stuff like that. But like, kids nowadays are just so stuck to their screens. And I've like decided, like, when I'm having a kid, I'm never going to let them be so stuck to a screen. Like, my parents never really let us watch TV. They let us watch films and stuff, but they were like Japanese animated films, and like they were amazing. And that helped me like learn Japanese, but I never watched those in English. Like, they were always in Japanese, and like we never got to watch TV and stuff. We had to, when you don't have the screens to rely on, you have to play with the people around you. You have to make connections with whoever is around you. You have to talk to them. Like, you can't just hide behind your screen, which I think a lot of kids do. And like, even in my boyfriend's mum, she was saying like she went to a primary school and she gave a book to this like little kid, like 6-year-old kid, and he was trying to scroll through the book. He didn't know how to read a book. Yeah, he was trying to scroll through a book. He just didn't know what a book was, so he wasn't trying to flick through pages. He was literally trying to scroll through it. And I found that so sad. Like, I didn't even know what a phone was when I was that age. Like, now I'm still awful with using a laptop. Like, my mum's better than me, but I think just don't take your childhood for granted, and you need to make the most of being able to play with your friends and getting the free lift from your parents, not having to pay for anything. Like, I know how to, going into Cardigan, like taking the bus from my friend's house to Cardigan was like the best thing ever. And like, bydde mam fi'n rhoi fel 10 punt o fi, fel 1 punt i'r bus I fynd o tu ffrind fi i'r Cardigan, a wedyn byddwn ni'n mynd rownd fel y siapiau fach na, fel cael coffi mewn Coffee #1, a wedyn byddwn ni'n mynd I Picos, byddwn ni'n mynd fyna, treol dillad mlaen. Just make the most of the £10 that your mum would give you. Well, little shopping trips, like, and like, even go to Haverfordwest me and my best friend would take scooters on the bus and we'd go to the skate park and like skate around. And now I'd be like, what on earth was I doing? But like I thought it was like so much fun. And we'd go to the Shaky Shack up in Ninkal, Nutella milkshake, best milkshake in the world. Oh my god, Nutella milkshake is heaven. Fydden ni'n cael fel 2 nhw mewn un dydd a just cerdded rownd. Mae fel nowadays bydd pobl jyst yn ar screens nhw, watch y teledu mewn tu fewn. A fel ar dydd neis, bydden nhw ddim mas i fas, bydden nhw'n stuck fel ar screens nhw. It's so sad watching that. They don't really realise how amazing their childhood is until it's like past them. Like you can never go back in time, can you? So like I wish parents didn't let their kids have these screens. Also parents like give phones to their kids to sort of shut them up in a sense, because kids can like scream like and stuff like that, and to keep them well behaved you give them a phone because it's a distraction for them. They stop shouting them. It's so sad though. Like I want every kid to be able to, I think don't give your kids phones at a young age is one of the main things. Let them just play with their own friends. You need to give them that freedom. Giving them the phone is like just giving them something to hide behind. Yeah. I think I would love to see what it's like living as a Welsh farmer. Because is that what you mean?
No, go on.
Achos yr ffordd maen nhw'n byw, maen nhw pob amser mas i fas, ond so nhw gwaith nhw yw i edrych ar ôl tir nhw a anifeiliaid nhw. So maen nhw ddim yr unig priority sydd da nhw yw y ffordd maen nhw'n edrych ar ôl anifeiliaid nhw, a mae popeth maen nhw yn fel edrych... mae popeth maen nhw'n neud i edrych ar ôl fel tir nhw, teulu nhw a anifeiliaid. Fel mae'r ffordd maen nhw da fel teuluoedd, maen nhw da massive teulus yma. Mae fel cousins bob man da nhw. Mae mama dad cu nhw, maen nhw'n gweld nhw fel pob dydd. And they see their grandparents like every day. Like my Welsh friends, they go over and see their grandma like in the like whenever we had a free lesson in school, they'd always go over and pop over to see their grandparents. And like my Welsh friend Clues, pryd bynnag mae fe'n mynd i gweld mam gi fe, mae fe pob amser yn neud brownies iddo fe, neu cacen, a mae fe'n pob amser yn rhoi fe rhywbeth iddo fe. Os mae hi ddim yn neud fel cacen neu rhywbeth fyna, mae hi'n rhoi iddo fe fel digestive biscuits, fel Santa Claus allan o chocolate a pethau fe yna. Ond maen nhw'n edrych ar ôl ei gilydd mor dda. They have a love there, and it's so nice to see like the way they have like all these connections around this small area. They have like cousins everywhere, and like I'll be talking to one of them and they'll be like, oh yeah, she's my cousin, like oh or like I love the connections they have, and like they don't need to see them all the time, but they know who their family is, and whenever they see them it's as if they've it's as if they've like never been apart. Like my ffrind fi yn Maen Clochog, mae hi da teulu hi rhwng fel trwy'r amser, ond she just has so much family around here, and like she has those nieces and like nephews and stuff like that, but they're also like joined up, and like they all make time to like see each other and stuff like that, even if they just try their hardest to see each other, and like the way they are with each other is so nice. And like Christmas, they have like 30 people sitting around a Christmas table. And like with us lot, my family lives all around the world. So I have like family in South Africa, Portugal, America, Canada, Japan. So our Christmases are very low key. There's always like 5 of us there. But like I've always wanted a massive family Christmas. Like I've always wanted like loads of people sitting around the like table, like everybody laughing, like drinks flowing and stuff like that. Like I've always wanted that. So fel pryd fi 'di fod yn fach, fi pob amser wedi moyn fel cael teulu masif ma. Fel fi 'di gweud wrtho briodydd fi fod fi moyn iddo plant ni fod yn fel ffrindiau gore. Fi moyn i gweld nhw fel pob blwyddyn. Fi moyn gweld nhw fel am pob Nadolig. So I said to my brothers, like, we have to be like really close when we're older. Like, we have to have Christmas together every single year. And I said to them, like, I was like, our kids are going to be best friends. Like, no matter what, they are going to be best friends. And like, yeah, because I just want a massive family Christmas. Like, a lot of Welsh families I know, they're just, it's strange for them to think that they wouldn't see their grandparents in a whole year. Like, that's for me, like, I would see my grandparents like, every year, and I can't really talk to them because they speak Japanese. So I'll try my hardest to speak Japanese to them, but communication's always a bit hard there. But, like, we try, but, yeah, for Welsh people, it's, whenever I say that to them, they're like, really? They're like, oh, I see my grandparents all the time, like, it's just a thing they do, isn't it? So I'd love to live like that, and see, like, their way of living in a sense. Yeah. Peth fi'n rili hoff o yn garden fi yw ffaith mae wedi newid mor gymaint o weithiau trwy'r blynyddoedd achos sim dad fi yn lico aros ar un peth, mae fe'n lico fel treol gwahanol ffordd o newid ble ni'n byw. A mae fe'n lico popeth i edrych yn neis a pethau fel na, so mae fe wedi creu fel Japanese garden allan o beth with Danny, with a literally just with dim byd na cyn ni, ond with a stone circle in a sense, ond fel stones I eistedd lawr ar, ond with ddim yn fel lle o'n i yn hoffi pryd o'n i'n fach, ond nath treo mewn i fel rhywle amazing sydd yn edrych yn mae'n edrych yn beautiful, especially yn yr haf pryd mae'r haul yn sglinio pethau fel na. Mae wedi creu fel stone fel pathway lawr i'r garden a lawr I hot tub ni, a mae loads o coeden amazing fyna, a mae chickens ni yn really hoff o garden hyn achos maen nhw yn lyfo fe, maen nhw'n byrju mewn i'r llawr o pethau fel na, ond hefyd mae'r stream ar bwysau fi da mor gymaint o fel memories o bod yn y hot tub, fi a ffrindiau fi ni'n treol dero I gilydd I mynd mewn i'r pond ma. Ond nawr mae fe'n fel ritual I dad fi mynd mewn fel pob bore. So mae'n mynd mewn i'r pond bach hyn, fel stone pond. A mae fe'n mynd fel yn dismond fyna pob bore. Ond fi'n cofio hefyd rai goldfish fi man. I put my goldfish into this like little stone pond I had. They all like swam away, but I was like trying to like grab them all out. Ond yeah, we need to roi nhw mewn fyna I just, when you moyn iddyn nhw bod mewn yn when you moyn iddyn nhw cael fel when you ddim moyn iddyn nhw bod yn confined mewn un lle. I don't want them to be confined in like this little glass thing. So when you di roi nhw mewn stone pwyllt ma, ond yeah, we need to colli un neu ddau o nhw, ond fi'n cofio bydd yn really hwyr just fel trio catch nhw nôl. Ond bydd yn neis I gweld nhw just yn yr pond ma. Bydd yn atgofio fi o fod mewn Japan a gweld yr massive koi fish ma. Because in Japan they have like all these amazing ponds, these massive fish, don't they? And yeah, so fi'n cofio hwnna a yeah, with an amazing gweld hwnna. Ond yeah, fi dal loads of memories mewn fel garden fi. Eistedd fyna yn cael fel tea parties da teulu fi. A fel cael y hwyaden yn yr background fel, yeah, ni wedi creu fel cwpl o fel ponds rhwng ble ni'n byw. A mae fe'n amazing, mae nhw mor bert a mae fe'n mor neis yn y haf. Gweld fel, ar y foment ni da tadpoles yn y pwll ma a gweld nhw'n tyfu, mae fe'n amazing. Ni da loads o gwahanol stories. Ni hefyd I roi fel 50 pysgod mewn un o'r ponds ni, achos o dad fi, we put 50 fish in this pond. Try and like, my dad wanted like a fish pond. But all of a sudden, 5 herrings turned up, a family of 5 herrings, ate them all in one day. So, yeah, when ni dim ond da yr pysgod ma yn yr pond am fel un dydd, cyn iddyn nhw I gyd cael eu bwyta lan. And yeah, it was amazing to see 5 herrings turn out of nowhere. We'd never seen them before, but it somehow there's sense that we had all these fish in the pond and just ate them all up in one go. We had none left to win. Yeah, so it was hilarious, but because my poor dad had like gone out of his way to buy all these fish. But we then use a pond as like a swimming area, and whenever my brother's friends would come down, we'd take the kayak out and like we'd swim around. We'd push each other in. Like last summer, my little brother pushed me in because I stole his shoe, so he pushed me in. I was not very happy with that at the time, but it was hilarious. But yeah, that's like, I loved that. And like swimming, I remember my dad's birthday was the first time we all swam in the pond. And yeah, we just all decided to jump in. And the stone in the middle was like the island that we all had to swim to. And like, I always imagined it as like hippopotamus back that I had to jump onto. And yeah, it's just, yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, that little stone up there. It's now full of weeds and stuff like that, but yeah, when we were younger there was none of that. Oh, it was so much fun swimming in there. It was like our own little swimming pool, but So the ground we live on is very important to me because it's what makes, yeah, it's just such a happy place, isn't it? You can do everything on it. But also our animals come into my life a lot, like our cats. My fat cat Mama, she's gorgeous. She's the cutest thing in the entire world. And yeah, animals play a massive part into people's lives, especially my own. Like, I had a dog growing up and he was the same age as me. With David Key, with Anova, with Lenny, with an 16 blwydd oed pryd nath e farw, ond da fel Key a pethau fel na, maen nhw yn da massive part mewn bywyd y pobl, a maen nhw'n comfort, they're comfort to everybody's lives, like dogs and animals like that. People rely on them a lot, and they rely on humans as well. But it's amazing you see the connection like animals have with their owners and stuff like that. Like, yeah, like say if you haven't seen your dog for a while and you suddenly see them, the joy that you'll see in their faces it's so heartwarming, and it's so lovely. It's just amazing to see the connection two things can have that can't speak at all to each other, but the only way of contact is like the touch, and like their hugs and stuff like that is the way they build a connection with each other. The comfort, like, I don't know, it's dogs and like cats and stuff like that, they're amazing. They bring so much joy into people's lives. They bring so much joy into my life. Like my cat Mama, like say if I'm ever sad, she seems to just know it, and she just seems to come into my bed and she'll lie straight on top of me. Like, she'll walk all over my laptop, and she'll just lie straight on top of me and hug me, and like I'll fall asleep with her like cuddling me. And it's the cutest thing in the entire world. Yeah, so fi'n meddwl ma fel anifeiliaid yn, maen nhw'n just massive part mewn bywyd y pobl, a maen nhw'n just helpu llawer o pobl, especially pryd mae pobl yn mynd trwy fel pethau galed, maen nhw na trwy popeth. Sim pobl mae pobl gallu mynd mewn allan o bywyd chi trwy bywyd, ond mae fel anifeiliaid yn aros da chi. Yeah, so yeah, I think Mama especially, she's just gorgeous. She's fat, but so cute. The fattest, cutest cat in the world, but I love her to bits. To me, it's like we should be looking after the world we live on for the future generations. Like, the way that we are treating the world at the moment, we're just sort of killing it, aren't we? And that's really sad because, like, who was I speaking? I was speaking to someone and I was like, oh, but do you want kids? And they were like, yeah, but I don't really want to bring them up in a world like this and stuff like that. And I was like, that's so sad. And I think that we need to care and we need to think about the futures ahead of us, not just about ourselves. It's not like we have a short lifespan and there's so many more generations ahead of us. And the way that we're treating the world at the moment, with poisoning it, and in the future it's going to be hard for the generations to fix what we have done to the world. So, yeah. So I think a lot of young people are realising more on how they can help, because there's there's protests going on and stuff like that, and like there's a lot of young people on social media sharing stuff about the world and like the way that we're harming animals, I think it's starting to click more in people's heads what we are doing and how we can just do slight stuff that will help in the future and help the generations ahead of us. Like our kids, their kids. If we want them to have a good life, like don't we want to help them a bit? Like help them to actually live in a place that is as amazing as my childhood was and stuff like that. Yeah. I think schools can do a lot to help kids understand it, because at home it's quite hard, like if parents aren't around that often, or if parents don't really think much about it, they don't get taught anything then from their parents. So I think if schools talk to the kids more about like, just even like they need to check out the plastic bottles and plastic cups. If they, like when you first start school you get a list of like stuff that you should bring to school. If they put on that list like just bring a metal bottle, that like a reusable bottle, if every single kid does that, there would be no more like plastic cups in schools. The amount of plastic cups we go through in school is insane. I remember looking at the bin, it's a massive bin filled with these plastic cups and plastic bottles, and like if they chuck those away and like actually told kids to like bring in those. And also kids learn stuff when they're younger, like languages, if you get taught it when you're younger. Fel fi ges I, when i di symud I agliswro, ysgol agliswro pryd when i'n 5 oed oed, a fi di dysgu Cymraeg ys fyna. A maen nhw'n just dangos, chi dysgu pethau yr fwyaf pryd chi'n ifanc, a mae pethau chi'n dysgu pryd chi'n ifanc yn aros da chi trwy bywyd chi I gyd. Like, the stuff you learn when you're younger just stays with you your whole life. It doesn't ever go. So if we get taught more stuff in primary school and secondary school, I think that would help massively with changing the way we live. And yeah, because people get more stubborn as they get older. People are so stubborn nowadays. people don't like to listen to other people. Like, people like to just think they're right, and the way that they do it, they never like to admit that they're in the wrong. Especially da'r amser Covid ma, chi'n gallu gweld, sim pobl yn licio dangos bod nhw yn anghywir a beth maen nhw'n meddwl yw'r ffordd anghywir. So os ni'n dysgu pryd ni'n fach, fi'n meddwl bod fe bach gwahaniaeth pryd ni'n henach a'r ffordd ni'n byw. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's really good.